They can be. We're out here to change those stigmas, and by having well-run communities, by converting more renters to owners so that there's a pride of ownership. Longevity is definitely affected by ownership. So there's different numbers that I've heard, but it can be either a very transient community where you're seeing turnover of residents in 2 to 3 years, or in the more heavily owner-occupied buildings, we're going to have manufactured homes that are owned by people who have been there for 7 to 12 years. And that adds a pride of ownership, it adds stability, it adds neighborhood, it adds community. Those are all things that when you know your neighbors, your life is just better. It's one of those things that I've lived in multi-story apartment buildings, and I don't know who my neighbors are from month to month, and I didn't ever feel as connected in there as I do in a home.
I think a lot of people still have that stigma of manufactured housing. I think too many people associate it with trailer parks. I did, because I didn't know the quality of the home. I didn't know the type of people that were living in manufactured housing. I didn't know the kind of communities that exist in this industry. And I think there's just a lot of people out there that don't understand that. Slowly but surely, we're getting to a point that more and more are becoming aware of that, especially also as just people learn more about the quality. If you look back and you see that HUD standards were established in the mid-70s. Manufactured housing as it exists today is very young. It's very new. So people still look back at trailer parks, but it's not trailer parks. These are very clean, nice, high quality communities that people can move into.
Here's a very good story. When I was little, my mom worked in this industry for, all growing up, my mom was in this industry. And so I would always make fun of her and say that she worked for trailer parks. And then when I got into this industry and really started understanding this business, these are not trailers by any shred of a chance, right? Because I've climbed under these homes. I've been in and out, all around, top to bottom, right? We have a lot of these homes that are physically set into the ground. I mean, you couldn't move these houses if you tried. So to tell me that these are trailer park communities would be telling me that I don't have blood in my body. They're not. And to talk to the people that live in these communities, this is their lifeblood. I listened today to Justin talk to a couple of the residents that live here at Sunnyvale, and it warms my heart to hear that, we've got kids that are attached to other residents that live in the communities, and they're doing Easter egg hunts and Christmas stuff and all that stuff. They're not the trailer parks that I knew when I was a kid. These are manufactured home communities, and communities is the biggest word there. That's the biggest part about this. Yes, absolutely. So what I would remind everybody, right, is the way your community looks is the level of buyer or resident you're gonna get in, right? So if I drive into a community, and I usually will not announce myself when I come into a community. I wanna drive the property first and see what everything looks like and look at the houses, right? And so when I see houses that are run down or burnt out or there's trash everywhere, that tells me the level of resident that we're gonna have in that community. People that just don't take time, don't take care. The manager maybe isn't paying as much attention to detail. Whereas opposed to you have a community that's very well kept, yards are mowed, trash is picked up, that means that the residents care. Right? The manager cares. The manager's taking the time.
Our homes are selling fast based off of many different resources. Specifically here in the West, we have an awesome team of community managers who are ready, set, go. We also have the ability to use virtual staging in our park model specific homes or any homes that we have here at Roots. We have an awesome team who is handling the applications, delivering them to the lenders, getting those approval backs quickly as possible and collecting those conditions from a community manager standpoint so that we can then submit them to the lenders. And we're getting homes funded, quickly within 30 days.
There's a lot of frustrated young families out there who don't think that home ownership is an option anymore, and they're looking for alternatives. And so manufactured housing communities are an alternative. That's something that's both functional and establishing you in the community. There's another segment of people who are buying into the TikTok and the kind of Insta life stuff they're seeing, and they go, I want to unplug, I want to go get a van, and I want to be free. The trouble with that is you're not becoming a part of any sort of real community other than something that's online. When you move into a manufactured home, into a community, you have neighbors, you have a life, you have a job, your kids are going to a school, you become deeply rooted within that community, and so you're establishing something. When you throw your hands in the air and say home ownership isn't for me, I'm gonna go buy an RV and I'm gonna travel around the country, that is fun, and a lot of people do that for a certain period of time, and it can seem very freeing at first, but I've been in RV sales for a good amount of time, and I know that most people get back out of it because there is no stability in it. It's not the same thing year in and year out. Your safety is always a much bigger concern than what you realize at first. The not knowing day to day how things are gonna be. Remote work is always something that's great, but it's ever changing, and you're kind of at the whim of the employer. Well, if you've uprooted and changed your whole life based on the promise of a company, and then now they change things, that'll uproot you right there for sure. And right now with just the state of the world that we're in, you know, if you're in a van and you have a breakdown, no big deal, I call my local Dodge dealer, but then they say, you know, we can see you in 18 or 21 days. Gosh, if it's a car, you can put your car on hold, you can go rent one, you can take an Uber, there's different alternatives that you have, but when you're using it day in and day out, you can't afford to be out of commission for 18 days because you can't press pause on life. So it's not the same thing, even though a lot of people equate it and they go, well, I'm spending $1,800 a month on rent and I could be in this RV for $890 a month. So right there, I'm already winning. It's like winning depending on what your goals are.
The need for affordable housing today is like, I never would have imagined it would be this high. Today, we can sell a brand new 2-3 bedroom, 2-bath house to a working family. If they have their own private yard, they can have a dog, they can have a barbecue, they can park right in their yard. They don't share walls with anybody, and their total monthly costs will be significantly lower than that same footprint or square footage of an apartment in that neighborhood, right? And so it offers a much higher quality of life while at a lower price.
The value that's created in home ownership is so much higher than what you get as a rental. You know, for example, you can put lots of things into your home. You can put your heart into your home, and at the end of the day, when you need to move or something like that, you're selling your home. You're not just leaving. You're creating value from that. You're getting value out of it. So as you purchase a home, and then as you continue to, you know, whether it's through the Establish Your Roots program, you're slowly gaining the home ownership, it's giving you that path to ownership. At the end of the day, it's your home, and as you sell it, you're gonna leave with more than what you'd get as a renter.
A community is made up of the people who live there. It's made up of where they live, who they live next to, where they work, where they worship, all those different things. So you can have an area that has multimodal. You can have a manufactured housing community, you can have an apartment complex, and you can have stick-built homes all on the same street. It's how those things interact with each other, how those residents interact with each other. Are they gated communities, or does it feel like an open concept? What is held within the community? Is there a playground where kids can get to know each other? What are you located near and by? How is crime in the area? How is basic things like safety and lighting and police presence? Where are we in terms of being rural, or are we located within a city? So there's a lot of things that kind of make that up, and the better we run our manufactured housing developments, the better they integrate into the community, and then the more that they add to that community.
Somebody would want to live at a Roots community because our communities are clean, our staff is incredible, and we are just a team of go-getters who are wanting to make your experience of homeownership a better experience from the jump start. In the Arizona market, we have a lot of age-qualified communities, 55 and older. And so the community atmosphere in these communities are impeccable. You are seeing a community of family, of, culture. Everyone is out doing something in the community. If it's a community event, if it's playing pickleball, if it's, reading in one of our community libraries, if it's taking a walk around the park, our communities are one of a kind, and they're really showcasing that next level lifestyle.
The way a manufactured housing community can contribute to the community overall is basically we need to be friendly, we need to be safe, we need to be courteous, and we need our residents to be an active part of the overall community. So we don't want to be like a hotel where the neighbors are changing from day in and day out. We want to be established in the community, know that the kids are getting on and off the bus together, that they're going to the playgrounds together, that you're using those same resources within the community, and that others recognize you, and that you're proud to say, I'm from such and such manufactured housing community. So yeah, it's something that if you're proud of where you're from, that lets you know that you're a good part of the community as well.
The advice I would give a new resident is to focus on the word community. Community as a colleague, community as a resident, and know that that word in itself is one that unpacks our mission as a whole. It speaks to our effort to build community with the group of homes that we have in one area. That's what we live to do. We live to be with each other, to help each other, support one another, and finally, find a way to better each other's lives. Welcome to Roots.